Good morning and welcome to another inspirational story with Dr. Anna from my book, Practical Spirituality 1, Finding Spirit in Everyday Life, available in Amazon as book and ebook in Spanish and in English. The inspirational quotes is also available in Amazon in ebook and book in Spanish and in English, and the audiobook in Sound, Spanish and English. So you have a lot of choice. This story is called Talking About Resistance, and I wrote it in 2003 when I was in the UK working in an office in an appreciation inspection agency in an international company as a manager. So this particular day I was in the office and I noticed that my boss was talking, and suddenly I didn't feel the scenery of the conversation like I normally did. I used to notice that he would say things that would underline issues of authority, power and control, and this used to bother me, maybe because I was struggling with wanting to be free from power and control from others. And then I also saw that through the corner of my eye, that he was checking my face, and I guess everybody else's, for a reaction of confirmation that I knew what he was talking about. If I didn't react, he would grow impatient. For the one side, I think that he wanted to understand whether I was in control of my job. And second, it was asking for the acceptance. All in all, I think he was trying to understand whether he could relax in his position, whether he didn't need to worry that there could be a problem or a gap in the department, that he might need to spend some time and energy sorting everything out. I think in one word, he wanted to know that he could trust me. Up to that point, I had just gone with the flow, their flow. But now I was starting to get stronger in my spirituality, and I started to understand the totem animals, and I chose to start using an animal that would allow me to keep a low profile without being pulled into their conversations, which I didn't always find pleasant, because mostly they were about someone else in negative terms, basically gossip. So I wanted to not show a reaction in response to my feelings. This was the beginning of my emotional intelligence. So I wanted to buy some time during the conversation, even if it was a few seconds, which would give me the opportunity to think what to say in a more efficient way. You see, sometimes we think people can read what we think. Maybe they can, but maybe they cannot. So I came to the conclusion that all this had to do with boundaries. Reading my animal strategy cards, I found that the medicine that I was looking for was opossum, which is one of my main totem animals and is in my inner house. Opossum tells us that the best strategy is sometimes no strategy. If you don't defend something, if you don't argue about something, if you don't show that something bothers you, people move on to the next target, so as to speak. Since we are continuously engaged in a tug of war for energy, and this is represented in games of manipulation, giving and taking, and other emotional patterns. I believe that until one achieves a certain level of spiritual growth, one's ego tries to run the business of living. And this is why we find it difficult to come to an agreement with others, or allow others to express their true opinions, in case we are challenged or proven wrong, or simply our unresolved fears get tickled in a way that is very uncomfortable. So when we don't react, we are not showing what emotional buttons can be pressed. People love a reaction to a provocation. This is the fun in it. If there is no reaction, they get bored and move on to pick on someone else. This is the game, and all players must participate. If one of the players doesn't participate, you will be labeled, such as living in your own little world, or being boring, or being aloof. This is simply because you are not feeling others' expectations of you. You are not fitting in. You are not playing the game. When you don't react, you are actually avoiding friction or resistance. By doing this, you are giving yourself a much bigger area for growth, because other people do not set up your limits or boundaries. You do. The next thing that happens is that you automatically become an observer, an outsider in the game. And the amount of learning you can do is amazing just by watching the exchanges of energy among others. It is a very privileged position to have, a position that some people cannot achieve in a lifetime because it entails dropping who you used to be and give yourself a chance to grow into someone new, someone much more powerful, with many more resources, and someone with the opportunity to start creating your life instead of reacting to all the external circumstances. When you start allowing the energies to take their course, they flow in the direction they are meant to. You then can choose where you focus your attention and therefore your energy. So you start shaping your reality because intention creates your experience. In a word, you become a magician. How? Well, you realize that as you focus on a thought, the reality associated with this thought seems to come to you. Do you ever have the realization that something comes to your life? It can be something small as a friend's letter or something big as a new job or relationship, just as you have been thinking about it? What you actually did was to attract the external manifestations of your thought or seed of your intention. This is what is called creation. Once you learn the trick, you can start creating bigger and more wonderful things. We miss the point that our ego decides that it wants to be the center of a stage and fights back by placing seeds of doubt in our mind. The most important thing is to realize that our senses are the navigation panels of our body or physical vehicle, and that the creative side of our nature or intuition is the captain, giving instructions and directions on where to guide our physical gear. It takes huge strength to bend your ego into accepting intuitive guidance. Here, the main ingredient is faith. Faith allows us to be strong enough to let go without needing the clear and obvious support of physical boundaries or reasons, explanations, justifications, or proof. The great thing about it is that as you focus on your intentions, for instance, you don't ask for a car, but you focus on the feeling of freedom, movement, speed, independence that a car will give you. Or you don't ask for a 3-bedroom house. You focus on the feeling of safety, comfort, warmth, privacy, space that this would give you. Do you understand? So you start creating a path where people, friends, family, work, relationships, synchronicities, occurrences seem to line up. And a corridor is created where the flow of who you are can reach others. Your soul will naturally guide you to communicate your gift more fully. So now you are becoming the architect of your life, the designer of your future. Your mind becomes inspiration. Your body becomes stamina. You are now working with the natural rhythms of your body since you stopped pushing yourself when the energy wasn't there. And your spirit becomes your purpose. Things around you simplify because you start strengthening yourself. You need fewer things. You spend less money on things you really didn't need, but thought you were buying you some happiness or comfort. Food stops being an issue of anxiety, and emotional support becomes sustenance. You can say no to people and you waste less time doing things that others thought you should be doing, but they are no longer your priorities. You are in charge and it feels awesome. You have control because you released all control. You have love because you stop buying and selling who you are. Your need for acceptance disappears because you love yourself anyway. So there is nothing or no one you need to be in order to love yourself. Do you see the pattern? And because you are happier in your skin, literally, you attract others at the same level. They also like you, they love you and accept you. And all we have to do is stop doing. The secret is to get your mind, body, spirit prepared for it. Then it becomes possible. Reality changes to align itself to our focused mind in a natural and effortless way. So, focus on what you want and let your intuition dictate your steps. It may take 1 month, or 10 years, but you will become much more powerful in the process and a much happier person for it. They say anything is possible. I say anything is possible when you are ready for it. Thank you for listening. See you next time.